Hi, thank you for coming back and joining me some more. We are reading chapter 10, Santa Who. My father signed up for 10 Chinese cooking lessons. He bought a wok, which is, I guess, big round pot, and 4 cookbooks. Most nights he would sit in front of the fire reading. When you finish writing your book, maybe you can open a Chinese restaurant, I suggested. I don't want to open a restaurant, Dad said, thumbing through the A to Z of Chinese cookery. I just mentioned that because, well, you know, Jimmy's Fargo father used to be an actor and now he's a painter. So I thought maybe you were going from advertising to writing to cooking. No, Dad answered. Cooking will just be a hobby for me, not a profession. Oh, I said. And then I added, you know, I like to know what's going on because sometimes you forget to tell me. Nothing's going on, Dad said, and he flipped through a couple of pages and turned to Mom. What do you think about this for tomorrow night? Stir-fried chicken with green onions, mushrooms, water chestnuts, and a touch of ginger. Sounds good to me, Mom said. Cocoa and animal crackers sounds good to me, Fudge said. He'd been very quiet tonight, stretched out on the floor with a pad of paper and a fat green crayon. Anyone else for cocoa and animal crackers? Mom asked, getting out of her favorite chair and yawning. Me, I called. That makes it unanimous, Dad said. What's unanimous? Fudge asked. It's when everyone agrees, I explained. Everyone agrees, Fudge repeated. Well, that's nice. I like it when everyone agrees. Why are you so busy drawing? I asked. I'm not drawing. I'm writing. What are you writing? A letter to Santa. Isn't it like a little early? I asked, since we're still eating leftover turkey from Thanksgiving. It's never too early, Fudge said. Where'd you hear that one? I asked. From Grandma, he said. I thought so. That makes it unanimous, Fudge said. Hey, Dad, I said. I think you should, think twice before using big words in front of him. Because now he's messing up another one. Yeah, messing, Fudge babbled. It must be pretty hard to write a letter when you can't even write, I said to him, chuckling. I can write. Since when? Since I was born. Yeah, very funny. Yeah, just because you've never seen me write doesn't mean I can't. Right, Dad? Yeah, that's good reasoning, Fudge, Dad said. Let me see that letter, I said, suddenly wondering if the kid really did know how to write. I mean, maybe he's some kind of genius, and my parents don't want me to find out because, I'm just a regular kid, I thought. Maybe they already know that he's going to skip 1st and 2nd grades. Worse yet, maybe he's going to skip all of elementary school, wind up in 7th grade next year with me. Worse than that, maybe he's going to be one of those kids who, goes to college at 12 years old, and there'll be stories about him in all of the newspapers and magazines, and people will say, Hatcher, sounds familiar. Are you by any chance related to that child genius, Fudge Hatcher? And I'd have to admit, yeah, he's my little brother. And then they'd scratch their heads and say, wow, too bad some of it didn't rub off on you. And then they'd laugh and they'd walk away. I reached over and grabbed Fudge's letter. I looked it over carefully. It's just scribbling, I said, feeling relieved. It's not, Fudge said. Santa's never going to be able to read this, I told him. Yeah, well, he'll be able to read the important part. Yeah, well, there's only one word that makes sense, I said. Bike. Yeah, well, that's the important part, Fudge told me, grabbing back his letter. I'll help you write a real letter, I said. This is a real letter. Well, I'll help you to write one to go along with this one, just in case Santa has trouble understanding what you want. I could see Fudge thinking my offer over, and when he's thinking hard, he scrunches up his lips and looks like a monkey. Okay, he said, and he passed me the green crayon and a fresh piece of paper. I'll tell you what to say. He stood over me and began to dictate. Dear Santa, please bring me a 2-wheeler bicycle. It should be red, just like Peter's. Oh, come on, I said. Be original. Ask for a blue bike or a yellow one. Red, he repeated, just like Peter's. And no training wheels. Training wheels are for babies. He paused. Go on. That's all. I'm finished. I can sign my own name. He wrote Fudgy in big letters in the bottom of the page. Aren't you going to write your last name too? I asked. No. Well, suppose Santa gets mixed up. He won't. How do you know? Well, there aren't that many kids named Fudge, are there? But just in case, I'll put a H after my name. That way he'll be sure. Mom came back from the kitchen carrying a tray, and we all spread out on the floor and had cocoa and cookies. I'll mail your letter tomorrow, Dad told Fudge. Do you know Santa's address? Fudge asked. Yes, Dad said. What is it? I can't remember, but I have it in my file. Daniel is asking for a bicycle too, Fudge reported to me 2 mornings later. So we'll be able to ride to school together. If Santa brings you a bike, I reminded him. Well, why wouldn't he? I'm a good boy. Aren't I a good boy, Mommy? I didn't wait for my mother to answer. Well, there are a lot of kids who can't get what they want, even if they deserve to get it. I mean, there are a lot of kids who... Why can't they get what they want? Fudge asked. Well, because toys and bicycles cost a lot of money, I said. So, Santa doesn't have to pay. That's not exactly how it works, I said, gulping down my milk. Then how does it work? Ask Mom or Dad, they'll tell you. I gathered my books and zipped up my jacket. How does it work? Fudge asked. Oh, hurry up, Fudgy, Mom said, avoiding his question, or you'll be late for school. That night, after Tootsie had been put to sleep, Fudge got after the rest of us to write our letters to Santa. The early bird catches the worm, he said. Who told you that, Uncle Feather? I asked, laughing. No, Mrs. Mulder, Fudge answered seriously. He handed us each a pencil and a piece of paper. Only 3 weeks to go, he said, and he danced around singing. He's making a list, he's checking it twice. He's gonna find out who's naughty and nice. Santa, who is coming to town? Santa who? I said. Santa Claus, he laughed, clapping his hands. Get it? It's a joke. I say Santa who, then you say Santa who, and I say Santa Claus. Get it? Yeah, sure, I get it. Isn't that a good joke? Yeah, great. Daniel taught it to me. I'm not surprised. Fudge put his hands on his hips. Now hurry up and write your letters to Santa, he said. Rather than argue, we all wrote our letters. I knew what was coming next. Now, everybody reads their letters out loud. You first, Peter. I looked over at Mom and Dad, and they nodded their heads, encouraging me. So I read my letter, feeling like a kindergarten baby for the first time in a long time. Dear Santa, please bring me 1 or more of the following items. A radio, a calculator, a stereo for my room, 6 CDs, and a radio-controlled model aeroplane. Thank you very much. Sincerely, Peter W. Hatcher. How will Santa know which 6 albums you want? Fudge asked. Well, he can, just leave me a gift token. That way he won't have to waste time figuring it out. Oh, I didn't know Santa could leave gift tokens. Yeah, well, Santa can leave anything he feels like leaving, I said. Fudge accepted that and said, Now you, Mommy. When Mom and Dad had finished reading their letters to Santa, Fudge said, What about Grandma? Oh, I'm sure she's making her list, Mom said. What about Tootsie? Tootsie's too young to write to Santa, I said. Then you write for her, Fudge said, shoving another piece of paper at me. Do I have to do this? I asked. It would be nice, Peter, Mum told me. All right, dear Santa, please bring me a teddy, a pull toy, and a box of Swyback crackers, Fudge said. And that's enough for her. She's just a baby. She doesn't know anything. Fudge was quiet for a minute. Then he said, "What about Turtle?" "Oh, come on, this is getting ridiculous," I said. "I got homework to do." But he ripped another piece of paper from his pad. "Okay, dear Santa," I wrote, "please bring me a rubber ball, some dog biscuits, and a new collar. Yours truly, Turtle Hatcher." I folded the letter, handed it to Fudge, and said, "I am not going to write one for Uncle Feather." Fudge laughed. "Well, Uncle Feather can write his own." Daniel came over the next afternoon. "Did you write to Santa yet?" I asked. "I'm Jewish," Daniel said. "I don't believe in that stuff." "Oh, I thought Fudge said you asked for a bicycle like him for Christmas." "I celebrate Hanukkah, and I did ask for a bicycle." "Oh, who'd you ask?" "My mother and father. Who do you think?" "Oh, well, I thought maybe you had a Hanukkah fairy or something." "You're really stupid," Daniel said, shoving a handful of pretzels into his mouth. "Oh, thanks, Daniel. Coming from you, that's a real compliment." "You're welcome," Daniel said, and he walked away mumbling, "Hanukkah fairy." Our class had a holiday party, like a Christmas party, the day before vacation. And we had Christmas cookies and island punch. I didn't drink any of it this time. Not even one cup, even though I was thirsty. No point taking any chances. And that's reference to something that happened in the previous book when he drank a lot of punch at a school party and couldn't get to the toilet fast enough. But anyway, you'd have to listen to that story. The end of the party, we each got to pull a silly present out of a grab bag. I got a pair of red plastic lips. Mr. Bogner brought in a sprig of mistletoe and asked us what we knew about it. Alex raised his hand and said, "If you get caught standing under it, you might get kissed." "Anything else?" Mr. Bogner asked. Elaine said, "If you want to get kissed, you should try standing under it." And everybody laughed. "Okay," Mr. Bogner said. "Anybody know anything else that isn't related to kissing?" No one answered. "Okay, well then, I think you should know that mistletoe is a plant which grows as a parasite on the trunks of trees." So that means mistletoe, it doesn't grow in the ground. It will find another plant to stick itself on and grow to. So there isn't a mistletoe plant just growing. You'll find, if you look up at an ordinary tree at the right time of year, then you'll see bunches of mistletoe just growing in the tree because it's stuck itself onto the tree and it's growing up there. That's what a parasite is called. It sticks itself to something else and grows on it. Which you could think is a bit unfair, really, on the tree that it's growing on. Okay, so it's Mr. Bogner explaining it better than me. I think you should know that mistletoe is a plant which grows as a parasite on the trunks of other trees. Birds eat the shiny white fruits called berries, but these berries are poisonous to humans. Early European peoples used mistletoe as a ceremonial plant. That probably explains why we tend to use it at Christmas time. While he was talking, he walked to the back of the room and hung the sprig of mistletoe near the coat closet. Later, when the bell rang and I ran to get my coat, I found myself standing next to Joanne under the mistletoe. We looked at each other, and then she leaned over and kissed my face, way back near my ear. As soon as she did, she turned bright red. For a minute, I thought she was going to cry, but she didn't. So then I gave her a kiss in the same spot. Only she moved her head at the last second, and I wound up with a mouthful of her hair. On Christmas morning, Fudge woke the rest of us up before 6 o'clock. "I got it! I got it! I got it!" he shrieked. "A big red bicycle with no training wheels. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Santa, wherever you are." And we all ran downstairs to open our presents. Turtle got everything on his list, and so did Tootsie, but she preferred the wrapping paper and ribbons to anything else. Besides my calculator and radio, I got a surprise. A gift token for 2 albums. At 7:30, Mum whipped up a batch of pancakes. By 10 o'clock, Dad had fallen asleep on the living room sofa, and Mum had conked out right on the floor. Okay, that was the start of their Christmas day. See you tomorrow.